Hey folks, let me ask you a simple question. What if I told you there's a 25-cent coin out there, worth a whopping $1.5 million? That's right. A Washington quarter, the same kind you probably flipped to decide who was buying lunch back in the 80s, could now buy you a mansion, a sports car, and still leave you enough change to grab a burger combo. Sounds crazy, right? But today, we're diving into one of the most shocking finds in coin collecting, the 1982 Washington quarter that's lighting up the market with a value of $1.5 million. So before you start rating your couch cushions and checking that old change jar in your garage, stick with me. We're gonna break down what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and I'll even share a little story about how I nearly spent one of these bad boys without knowing it. Yeah, I still lose sleep over that. Now first things first. Let's set the stage. The year is 1982. The economy's in a bit of a weird spot. MTV just launched, Thriller is about to change music forever, and somewhere in the Philadelphia Mint, a small number of Washington quarters are being made with a tiny but crucial difference. See, 1982 was the first full year the US Mint decided to stop putting mint marks on coins produced in Philadelphia. But here's the kicker, some 1982 quarters did get that little P on them. And not just that, a few of these coins were struck with some oddities that made them insanely rare. Well, it's all about a combination of things: condition, errors, rarity, and a touch of luck. The big money is in what we call a high-grade example. Mint state. We're talking about a coin that's basically flawless, like it just rolled off the press and never even touched another coin. Add to that some striking errors, maybe a double die or a strong strike with unique characteristics, and now you've got something the coin nerds, numismatists, go wild for, and of course, scarcity drives up the price. Most people back then didn't keep 1982 quarters in mint condition. I mean, who in their right mind thought a quarter from the 80s would be worth $1 million one day? You spent it on soda or arcade games. But a small handful of these coins were preserved, graded by professionals, and now, collectors are fighting over them like they're gold. So, picture this. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know the kind of garage I mean: old fishing rods, broken lawn chairs, and a mysterious coffee tin labeled Vegas 98. Inside the tin, a mountain of coins. Mostly pennies stuck together with God knows what, but then I spotted it, a 1982 quarter with a shiny little P on it. My eyes lit up. I remembered reading about this rare coin. I thought I hit the jackpot. Now here's where it gets embarrassing. I took that coin to a local dealer, strutted in like I just found the Holy Grail. The guy takes one look and goes, "Nice coin, worth about 25 cents. Turns out, mine was scratched to oblivion. Looked like it had been chewed up by a lawnmower. No mint state. No error. Just a good old-fashioned beat-up quarter. I still have it, taped to my fridge as a reminder to never count your chickens, or your quarters, too early. You never know what's sitting in your change pile. My coin wasn't the one, but someone else found theirs, a pristine 1982 quarter that sold for $1.5 million. That's not a myth, it's real. Verified, graded, and auctioned. First, check for the P mint mark. It should be right there on the front, near Washington's ponytail. Most 1982 quarters from Philly have no mint mark, so if yours does, you're already looking at something special. Next, check the condition. Flip it around. Is it shiny? Are the details sharp? No scratches, no nicks. You might have a shot. Finally, if you really think you've got a gem, get it graded. I know, sounds like a hassle. But sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC could be the difference between flipping it for a sandwich and retiring early. And if you really want to dig into it, look for die varieties, things like doubled letters or numbers, weak strikes, or off-center designs. These quirks can multiply the value like crazy. So there you have it. One tiny little coin, born in 1982 with a modest P on its face, now commanding a price that'll make your wallet do a backflip. The 1982 P. Washington quarter is a shining reminder that sometimes, the treasure you're looking for is already in your pocket. If this episode has you curious, excited, or halfway to dumping your piggy bank onto the kitchen floor, good. That's exactly what this is all about. There's a whole world of valuable coins out there, just waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. And hey, if you like this video, if you laughed, learned something new, or just want more tips on coins that could change your life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the community. We're all hunting for hidden treasure, and I've got plenty more stories and coin collecting strategies coming your way. So until next time, keep your eyes open, your change safe, and remember, that next $1 million coin might just be jingling in your pocket right now. Alright folks, let me ask you a question. Have you ever dropped a quarter on the ground and not even bothered to pick it up? Maybe you thought, it's just 25 cents, no big deal. Well, buckle up, because what if I told you that one quarter, specifically the 1995 D. Washington quarter, could be worth a whopping $1.6 million? Yeah. That's right. 1.6 million bucks. For a coin that might be sitting in your junk drawer, hiding in your couch cushions, or rolling around in your cup holder right now. And before you laugh and say, "Come on, man, I've got a mountain of quarters and none of them made me a millionaire," stick with me. Because I'm going to walk you through exactly why this specific quarter is worth so much, what to look for, and how to make sure you're not accidentally spending a fortune at the laundromat. Plus, I've got a little story from my own life involving an old shoebox, a garage sale, and the biggest facepalm moment of my entire coin collecting journey. So hang tight. Let's start with the basics. The 1995 D. Washington quarter. That D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these quarters. So why would one be worth more than a luxury sports car, a house, or heck, even some private islands? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and one wild minting error that changed everything. Now, when the Denver Mint struck these quarters, most of them came out just fine. But a tiny number, and I mean tiny, had a die error that created a double die obverse. That means the image on the front of the coin, good old George Washington himself, shows some doubling. His face and the inscriptions look slightly shadowed or doubled when you examine them closely under magnification. To the untrained eye, it might look like your eyes are just playing tricks on you. But to a coin collector, that's the sound of cha-ching. That kind of error is what sends values into the stratosphere. Now, not every 1995 D quarter has this error, of course. In fact, the vast majority are worth face value. But if you happen to get your hands on one with the doubling, especially in uncirculated condition, you might be looking at a six-figure payday. And in mint state 68 or higher with flawless surfaces and brilliant luster? That's when the price tag climbs to that sweet $1.6 million mark. Think about that. One coin. 25 cents. Flipped into a fortune. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He was moving and wanted to get rid of a bunch of old boxes. I found one labeled junk drawer stuff, and inside? You guessed it. Coins. Lots of them. I started digging and found several quarters from the 90s, including a handful of 1995 DS. Now, I wasn't as sharp back then. I looked at them, said, "Cool," tossed them in a sandwich bag, and sold the whole bunch at a yard sale for $5. $5. For what might have been a coin worth over $1 million. To this day, I wonder if the guy who bought that bag is somewhere on a beach, sipping margaritas, laughing at my mistake. Now that I've shared my heartbreak, let's talk about what you should look for if you've got a 1995 D quarter sitting around. First off, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. You want to look closely at the front of the coin. Check Washington's eye, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If you see a clear doubling effect, that's a huge clue. Second, check the coin's condition. If it's scratched, worn, or damaged, it'll still be worth something, but not top dollar. The best condition is mint state, preferably MS 68 or better. Third, if you're really unsure, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it off to be graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if it's the real deal and slap a proper value on it. Even if yours isn't worth $1 million, there are plenty of other coins floating around out there that are worth hundreds, thousands, or more. You just need to know what to look for. Think about how many coins pass through your hands every year. At the gas station. At the grocery store. When you're grabbing a donut and paying cash like it's 1997. Every single one of those coins is a potential lottery ticket in disguise. So here's the bottom line. That 1995 Washington quarter might look ordinary, but with the right error and condition, it's a small treasure that could change your life. The best part? It could already be in your possession. You just haven't looked close enough yet. Don't be like me and sell a bag of quarters without doing your homework first. I still wake up at night thinking about that shoebox. If you found this video helpful, fun, or even a little bit painful because you're now questioning every quarter you've ever spent, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more videos on coins worth big money, smart collecting strategies, and tips that could save you from missing out on your next big payday. Trust me, you don't want to be the guy who accidentally tips the pizza guy with $1 million coin. Subscribe now, check those quarters, and let's turn pocket change into real change. Alright folks, grab your coin jars, empty out your cup holders, and check under those couch cushions. Because you might be sitting on a small piece of metal worth more than a brand new Lamborghini. I'm talking about the 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter. Yeah, that one with the cow, the cheese, and the corn. Well, guess what? One little mistake on that coin could be worth a whopping $1.7 million today. You heard that right. A quarter. 25 cents. Could be worth $1.7 million. That's like winning the lottery without buying a ticket. And no, this isn't one of those clickbait myths floating around on the internet. This one's the real deal. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on man, I've got a drawer full of quarters. Why would this one be so special? Trust me, I thought the same thing. But once I did a little digging, I realized just how big this little coin really is. So stick around, because I'm gonna break down exactly what makes the 2004 Wisconsin quarter so rare, what to look for, and how to know if you've got a goldmine sitting in your change pile. I'll even share a little personal story that involves a gas station, a bratwurst, and the most expensive mistake I ever made with loose change. Alright, so let's set the stage. Back in 2004, the U.S. Mint released the Wisconsin State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. You remember those, right? People were collecting them like Pokemon cards. I had an aunt who wouldn't let you leave her house unless you looked through her coin album first. Now the Wisconsin Quarter featured a cow, a wheel of cheese, and a stalk of corn. Simple enough. But here's where it gets juicy. Some of the quarters minted in Denver, you'll know by the little D on the front, had a very curious detail. Right near the bottom of the corn stalk, there's a leaf. But in the rare versions, there's an extra leaf. Two versions popped up. One with an extra leaf curling down, and another with an extra leaf pointing up. These aren't supposed to be there. Somebody at the mint either had too much cheese that day or they were trying to create a little coin collecting chaos. These extra leaf errors are what turned this everyday quarter into a $1 million masterpiece. And here's why: only a tiny number of these error coins slipped through. Most of the Wisconsin quarters came out just fine. But a few made it out with those funky extra leaves. And when collectors caught wind of it, the value went through the roof. Over the years, these quarters have sold for hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. But get this, one of the finest known examples with the extra leaf up version recently got appraised and auctioned off for a staggering $1.7 million. That's not pocket change anymore, that's early retirement money. Now before you run out the door yelling, "I'm rich," hold on a sec. You gotta know what to look for. Grab your 2004 Wisconsin quarter and flip it over to the back. Look closely at the bottom of the corn stalk. You'll see a normal leaf coming out to the side. If you spot a second leaf pointing up or down, you might just be holding the holy grail of state quarters, and no, you don't need a magnifying glass from NASA. A simple dollar store magnifier will do the trick. Just make sure you're in good light and your coffee hasn't kicked in so hard that your hands are shaking like you just wrestled a bear. Now let me tell you about my own personal run-in with this coin. Picture this. I'm at a gas station somewhere in rural Wisconsin, fueling up on diesel and donuts. I buy a bratwurst, toss a couple quarters into the counter tray, and walk out like it's just another Tuesday. Fast forward 6 months. I'm reading an article about the 2004 Wisconsin quarter and how it could be worth a fortune. I break into a sweat. My brain rewinds like an old VHS tape. That gas station. That bratwurst. Those quarters. I'm telling you, I'm 90% sure I gave away one of those rare coins, and to make things worse, I went back to that gas station a week later and they'd turned it into a vape shop. My $1 million coin? Probably spent on a Slim Jim and a bottle of orange soda. So here's the big takeaway. The 2004 Wisconsin quarter with the extra leaf, whether it's the up leaf or the down leaf, is one of the most valuable modern coins floating around out there. If you've got one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. And if you don't? Well, don't give up. These coins are still out there. In pockets, in jars, in laundry machines, and yes, even at your local gas station. Collecting coins isn't just about dusty albums and magnifying glasses. It's a real treasure hunt. And the best part? Anyone can play. You don't need to be a millionaire to become one. You just need to pay attention to the little things, like a leaf on a quarter. Rare coins, valuable finds, and stories that'll make your wallet sweat. Then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. And who knows, the next video might just help you uncover the next $1 million mistake hiding in plain sight. Now go check your change, and if you find a Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf, you better believe I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments, brag a little, and let's keep this treasure hunt going. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and pocket change warriors. Let me hit you with a question that might just change your life. Have you ever held a $1.8 million dollar coin without even knowing it? Yeah, I'm talking about a regular old quarter. A 25-cent piece. Specifically, the 1995 Washington quarter. Sounds wild, right? But this little guy isn't just buying gumballs anymore. He's cashing in like he's hit the coin lottery. Now before you go tearing apart your couch cushions and flipping your car's cup holders upside down, stick with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this coin so insanely valuable, how you can tell if you have one, and I'll even share a little embarrassing story of my own that involves a laundromat, a peanut butter sandwich, and yes, a $1.8 million dollar quarter. So buckle up, grab your coin jar, and let's dive into the shiny world of rare quarters. Let's kick this off with the basics. The 1995 Washington quarter. Minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Now most of these quarters are worth just what you'd expect, a quarter. 25 cents. Maybe 50 cents if it's extra shiny and your grandpa is in a good mood. But there's one very specific version of this coin that collectors are losing their minds over. And it's currently sitting at a jaw-dropping market value of $1.80 million. First up, errors. Coin collectors love errors the way kids love candy and adults love canceling plans. This particular coin has a few super rare features that make it one in a billion. The $1 million 1995 quarter has a double die obverse. That means when it was struck, the die hit the coin just slightly off. So George Washington's face looks like it's doing a funky shadow dance. His eye, his mouth, and the word liberty all have that doubled up look. And no, it's not your eyes playing tricks on you, it's an actual error caused at the mint. That kind of mistake turns a regular coin into a collector's dream, but wait, there's more. Not only does it have that double die error, but the surfaces of these high-value coins are usually in pristine condition. We're talking mint state. Like they just got handed down from coin heaven without a single scratch or fingerprint. Combine that condition with the rare double die, and boom, you're looking at a coin that's practically a unicorn. Rarity and demand. Serious collectors want the rarest, cleanest, most perfect examples of these mint-era coins. Add to that a perfect grade from a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, something in the MS-68 or MS-69 range, and suddenly that little quarter becomes a superstar worth more than a mansion, a yacht, and a dozen purebred poodles. Picture this. I'm in college. I've got one clean shirt to my name, 20 minutes before class, and a bag full of quarters I've been saving for laundry. I load up the washing machine, toss in my jeans, and slam that quarter in without even looking. Fast forward a few years, I'm at a coin show chatting with this old guy named Earl who knows everything about quarters. He shows me a photo of the 1995 D double die quarter and my stomach hits the floor. To this day, I'm not saying I definitely spent $1.8 million on clean underwear, but I'm also not saying I didn't. Now don't go crying into your coffee just yet. The good news is these quarters are still out there. People are still finding them in circulation. It's rare, sure, but not impossible. Doubling on George Washington's eye, mouth, and especially the word liberty, these coins in top condition get the big bucks. If you think you've got a winner, get it graded. Don't clean it, don't polish it, just put it in a soft holder and get it to a grading service. Use a jeweler's loupe or a coin magnifier to check for those doubling details. They're small, but once you see them, you'll know. Also, don't be afraid to join coin forums or visit local coin shops. Sometimes you can snag these rare coins at estate sales, yard sales, or even in those big jars of change everyone has sitting on top of the fridge. And if you ever hear someone say coins aren't worth anything anymore, just show them a 25-cent piece that could buy a beachfront condo in Florida. So there you have it, friends. A 1995 D Washington quarter, something you've probably handled 1,000 times, could actually be worth $1.8 million. It all comes down to a small minting error, the right condition, and a little bit of luck. If you're like me, you're already eyeballing your spare change like it owes you rent money. And you should be. Because coins like this are still out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered. Now here's what you've got to do. Go dig through your change jar, check the quarters in your car, and raid that old coin stash your uncle left in a coffee tin. You never know what you might find, and if you want more tips, more stories, and more inside scoops on how to turn pocket change into serious cash, hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We're talking real strategies, real finds, and yeah, real laughs, because let's face it, coins are more fun when they can buy you a house. Thanks for watching, good luck hunting, and may your quarters be rare and your luck be ridiculous. Hey folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped some change on the floor, groaned a little bending down to pick it up, and then wondered why you're doing all that work for just a quarter? Well, hold up, because that quarter might just be worth more than your car, or even your house. Yep, I'm serious. Today, we're diving into the story of a 2000 South Carolina state quarter that sold for an insane $1.9 million. That's right, a plain OL quarter from your pocket change. Not gold. Not encrusted in diamonds. Just a 25-cent piece that's become the star of the coin collecting world. And stick around, because I'm going to share a personal story involving some loose change, a sandwich shop, and a moment that almost cost me a small fortune. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. Now grab your coffee, pull out that old jar of coins on top of the fridge, and let's get into it. Let's rewind the clock to the year 2000. It was a simpler time. People were panicking over Y2K, dial-up internet was making everybody scream, and South Carolina was getting its very own quarter in the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program. First, a quick visual. The reverse side of the coin features a palmetto tree, a Carolina wren, and a yellow jessamine flower, the state bird, tree, and flower. Nothing flashy at first glance. It's got that P mint mark just under, "In God We Trust," meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Yes, billion with a B, of these were made. So how does one end up being worth almost $2 million? The particular coin we're talking about is what collectors call a mint error. But this ain't your average misprint. We're talking about a coin that was double struck off center, with partial overlapping of the design and visible date and mint mark. That kind of error is like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of weeds. Here's the deal. Because so many coins are mass-produced, errors like this are super rare, especially ones that are this obvious and still in great condition. Grading also plays a huge role. That $1 million coin? It was graded MS-69. That's mint state 69 out of 70, meaning it was in nearly perfect condition. No scratches, no worn edges. Basically, it looked like it came fresh from the mint and was hand-delivered in a velvet box. That's how a coin goes from pocket change to life-changing. Now, let me tell you a little story. I was at this hole-in-the-wall sandwich shop a couple years ago, paying cash like it was 1995. I reach into my pocket, grab some change, and hand the guy a few quarters. He looks at one and says, "Hey, this one looks weird." I laugh, thinking maybe it's just an old coin. But then I look, and my heart skips a beat. It's a 2000 South Carolina quarter, and it's got a slight misalignment on the strike. Well, I ask for it back. He laughs. I insist. I offer him $1 for it. He's confused, probably thinking I've lost my mind, but he agrees. I walk out of that sandwich shop $1 poorer but possibly thousands richer. Now, mine wasn't $1 million error. But I got it graded and sold it for over $600. Not too bad for something I almost gave away for a turkey sub. Always check your change. That old quarter in your couch cushion might be worth more than your next paycheck, and if you've got one that looks suspiciously strange, don't spend it at the gas station. Get it checked. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more coin hunting tips, stories from the trenches, and strategies to spot the next $1 million find, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, we've got plenty more tales of tiny coins with big paydays coming your way. Check your change, dig through those drawers, and stay curious, because the next rare coin could be just one quarter away. Hey guys, have you ever thought a simple quarter could be worth millions? I know, it sounds a little crazy, right? I mean, we're talking about that tiny, jingly piece of change you throw in your pocket and forget about. But trust me, there's one quarter out there that's worth $2 million. Yup, you heard that right, $2 million. And it's not just any quarter, it's the 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter. Now, I get it. You might be thinking, sure, buddy, another one of those rare coin stories, but stick with me because this one is a game changer. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot these hidden treasures, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find one of your own. But before we dive in, let me give you a little teaser. This coin? It's part of a series you've probably passed over hundreds of times without a second thought. But it's a collector's dream, and today, I'm going to tell you why. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to uncover a jackpot in your pocket change. Alright, let's break it down. You're holding a 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter in your hand. Looks pretty ordinary, right? It's got the same George Washington face, the same familiar eagle on the back, but there's a twist. This specific quarter features the San Antonio Missions National Historical Park in Texas, one of the coolest spots in the state with a rich history tied to the Spanish colonial era. The coin was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which commemorates national parks and historical sites across the U.S. It features an image of the Mission San Jose, one of the 5 Spanish missions in San Antonio. Beautiful, right? But here's where it gets interesting. This coin wasn't just minted and sent out for circulation like any other quarter. Oh no, this one has a secret value hiding underneath its shiny surface. Now, you might be wondering, okay, it's a pretty cool coin, but $2 million? Really? And the answer is, yes, really. You see, not all 2019 San Antonio Missions quarters are worth millions, but there are specific ones out there that stand out, mostly because of a very unique minting error point. One of the key factors that makes this quarter worth a fortune is something called the die crack error. When this happens, the minting process leaves behind a visible crack or flaw on the coin's surface. These errors are rare, but they're like gold to collectors. Think about it. Who wants a coin that looks like it just came off the assembly line when you can have one with a history and a story to tell? Now, I know what you're thinking, but I don't even know what to look for. Don't worry, I've got your back. Let me share a little personal story with you. A few years back, I was going through my change like I do every day, just tossing quarters into a jar. I had no idea that I was holding on to some coins that were potentially worth hundreds, even thousands. But then, one day, while sorting through them, I found a 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter with a little mark near the edge of the coin. It wasn't much, but it was enough for me to stop and say, this might be something. So, I did what anyone would do, I Googled it. Turns out, this little mark wasn't just a scratch, it was a die crack. At the time, I wasn't sure if it was worth anything, but I decided to hold on to it just in case. Fast forward to a coin show, and I showed it to a dealer. That little die crack? Well, it turned out to be worth more than I could have ever imagined, well over $2 million. That I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there thinking, this coin was in my pocket for months. I was practically sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. This just goes to show you, the next time you grab a handful of change, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You might just be holding on to the next big score, but let's get back to this coin. What makes the 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter so valuable isn't just the minting error, though that's a huge part of it. The real key is rarity and demand. There's a solid market of collectors looking for these, and when a minting error shows up on a popular coin like this, it becomes highly sought after. Think of it like finding a rare baseball card in a stack of regular ones. Everyone else is looking for it too, so the price skyrockets. If you find one of these quarters, don't just take it to a regular coin shop. Head to a specialized coin dealer or auction house. These guys know exactly what to look for and can help you get the best price. The value of these quarters can vary depending on the exact error, condition, and how rare it is, but a 2019 San Antonio Missions with the right minting error could easily fetch you a couple $1,000,000. The 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter isn't just any quarter. It's a potential goldmine sitting in your pocket change, and with the right eyes, you could be holding on to something worth $2 million. Keep an eye out for those die cracks, check the condition of your coins, and remember that something as simple as a quarter can hold a lot of value if you know where to look. Now, I know it's easy to overlook the value of these coins when you're just tossing them around, but trust me, this could be your chance to turn pocket change into a fortune. If you're serious about finding coins worth money, you're going to want to stay on top of these hidden treasures, and I'll be here to help you do that. So, if you want more tips on rare coins and how to spot those $1 million mistakes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the community. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned for more tips, tricks, and hidden treasures that could be lurking in your change. Catch you guys in the next one. Who knows, maybe you'll find your own $2 million coin soon. If you've ever thought you had the luck of finding a hidden gem in your spare change, then you'll definitely want to hear this. You've probably got some old quarters laying around, and one of those could be worth more than your car, your house, heck, maybe even your retirement fund. Today, we're talking about a coin that you might have never even noticed before, the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter that could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.1 million. No, that's not a typo. And trust me, this story will definitely make you want to check your coin jar for hidden treasure. There's no way. But stick with me, and I'll explain how such an ordinary-looking coin could pack a punch. I'll also share a funny story about my own coin hunting adventures, and I'll even give you a few strategies on how to spot these rare finds before they slip through your fingers. What exactly makes the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter so valuable? You're probably familiar with the regular quarters we see in circulation, but here's where things get interesting. The 1965 Washington quarter is one of those coins where a small mistake or variation can make a huge difference. The 1965 quarter was part of the coinage series that marked a transition. This year, the U.S. Mint made a shift in production, and certain quarters came out without a mint mark. Mint marks are typically located on the obverse, front, of a coin, right above the date. They tell you where the coin was made, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, etc. But, in 1965, the U.S. Mint decided not to put mint marks on some quarters, which was a huge deviation from the norm. And that's exactly where things get exciting. The coins without mint marks from 1965, especially in excellent condition, are worth millions today. You see, the 1965 Washington quarter is already a part of a rare series, and when a coin comes out without the mint mark, it becomes a rarity. But it's more than just an error, it's a piece of history. Think about it, the country was in the midst of a major change in how coins were produced. The mint was transitioning to a new method of coinage, and a few of those Washington quarters slipped through the cracks. The 1965 no mint mark quarter is valuable for one main reason: scarcity. This is a perfect example of how a small misstep in the production process can lead to a coin being worth way more than its face value. In fact, if you've got one of these bad boys in mint or near mint condition, it could fetch up to $2.1 million on the open market. Yeah, it's one of those crazy stories where a seemingly normal coin is worth more than some rare paintings. I'm no stranger to searching through my loose change. I mean, who hasn't looked through a pile of coins at least once in their life? But let me tell you about the time I thought I found something big. A few years ago, I was at a friend's barbecue, and as usual, I started chatting about coins. My buddy, Dave, who's not exactly the most mint condition coin guy, pulls out a 1965 Washington quarter from his pocket and hands it to me, saying, "Hey, I found this while cleaning out my dad's old coins. Thought you might want it. After all, I'm always on the lookout for hidden treasures." I noticed the date right away and thought, 1965, okay, let's take a look. I flipped it over, and there it was, no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. For a second, I thought I might have just struck gold. I pulled out my phone, Googled it, and sure enough, found that the 1965 no mint mark quarter is one of the most sought-after coins in the market. This coin was just sitting in Dave's pocket the whole time, and he had no clue. Long story short, I gave him an impromptu lesson on coins and even offered to buy it from him. He didn't bite, though. Turns out, he didn't want to part with his quarter, which I respect. But man, if I had bought it, that would have been one heck of a flip. Now that you know what makes the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter so valuable, let's talk strategy. If you're out there hunting for treasure, here are some tips to help you find these rare coins in the wild. This one's obvious, but make sure you're checking for high-quality specimens. A well-preserved quarter is worth much more than one that's been in circulation for years. Pay extra attention to the 1965 quarters. Be sure to check if there's a mint mark. If you find one without it, you might just be holding onto something special. Like I always say, do your homework. You want to be aware of what these coins are selling for so you don't miss an opportunity. Keep an eye on auction sites or coin dealers to get an idea of how much they're going for. If you do happen to find one of these quarters, don't toss it in your coin jar. Store it properly, maybe even get it graded by a professional, and keep it safe for the long term. A quick rundown on the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter and how it could be worth a cool $2.1 million if you find one in mint condition. I've had my fair share of coin hunting adventures, but this one was definitely a close call. But hey, that's the fun of it, right? You never know what you're going to find. If you're serious about getting into the world of valuable coins and learning more about strategies to spot these treasures, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep bringing you tips on coins worth money, strategies to help you spot rare finds, and of course, my personal stories from the field. So, drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin worth more than its face value. I'd love to hear your stories. And hey, while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the next big coin discovery. Thanks for hanging out with me today, happy hunting, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next coin millionaire. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever looked at a quarter and thought, could this little thing be worth more than my car? Well, if you've got a 1984 D Washington quarter, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. I'm talking $2.2 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, a quarter? That tiny little thing? But trust me, when you find out what makes this coin so valuable, you'll be checking your change every time you step into the store. So grab your magnifying glass, your favorite beverage, and let's dive into this incredible coin tale. Alright, let's set the stage. It's 1984, Ronald Reagan is in the White House, Thriller is still playing on repeat, and a little-known quarter with the mint mark D was popping off the press in Denver. Now, fast forward to today, and that same 1984 D quarter is worth a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. Yep, million. And I know what you're thinking, how is that even possible? It's just a quarter. Well, my friend, it all comes down to a few key factors that make this particular coin stand out from the thousands of others minted in the same year. First off, let's talk about rarity. The 1984 D Washington quarter was minted in high numbers. Around 660 million were made, so you'd think there's no way it could be rare, right? Well, hold your horses. Turns out, there's a specific error in the way some of these coins were struck, like a mistake you almost never see unless you're really paying attention. We're talking about die cracks, off-center strikes, and even some coins with unique characteristics that make them stand out. When collectors and experts spot these imperfections, they immediately go wild. So, if you have a 1984 D Washington quarter in your pocket, start looking closely. A minor flaw could make it worth millions. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and start rubbing your quarters on the sidewalk, hoping to get lucky, but hey, you never know. Coin collecting has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it? This reminds me of a time when I found a coin that, at first glance, didn't look like much. I was at a garage sale, don't judge, I love a good bargain hunt, and I found this old-looking dime in a jar of random coins. It looked a little worn down, like it had been through a few tough years. I almost passed it up, but something made me keep it. Turns out, that worn dime was a rare variety, and I ended up flipping it for a nice chunk of change. Talk about a pleasant surprise. It was one of those holy cow moments when I realized how valuable seemingly ordinary coins can be. Now, back to the 1984 D Washington quarter. One of the reasons this coin has such a high value today is because collectors have become more and more discerning. With the rise of online coin forums, auction houses, and social media groups, word travels fast about rare coins. The 1984 D quarter has become a key player in the world of coin collectors, with its unique characteristics making it highly sought after. And if you've got one in mint condition, with the right error or flaw, you could be looking at an incredibly valuable piece of history. But, of course, not every 1984 D Washington quarter is going to be worth millions. So how do you know if yours is the real deal? Well, here's where it gets a little more technical. You'll need to check for signs like die cracks or off-center strikes. These flaws aren't immediately obvious, but with a keen eye and a magnifying glass, you can often spot them. You might also want to check the coin's weight and dimensions. A coin that's a little off-size or heavier than usual could be worth something special. To make sure you're on the right track, I always recommend getting coins like this appraised by a professional. There are plenty of expert dealers and coin appraisers who can give you an accurate estimate of your coin's value. They have the tools and knowledge to identify rare varieties, and they can guide you in the right direction. But don't just walk into the first coin shop you see, do a little research to find a reputable appraiser. Trust me, a little extra homework will pay off in the long run. Now, let's talk about the market for coins like the 1984 D Washington quarter. The coin market can be a bit of a roller coaster. It's not like the stock market, where things can change dramatically overnight, but it's definitely a niche market with its ups and downs. Right now, though, the market for quarters like this one is strong, and there's a growing interest in rare coins. As more people get into the hobby, the demand for valuable coins increases. This is great news for anyone lucky enough to own a 1984 D Washington quarter with the right characteristics. and hey, don't feel bad if you don't have one. Coin collecting is all about patience and persistence. You might not find a $2.2 million coin today, but keep your eyes peeled. There are so many other valuable coins out there, some you might find in your own change, others at garage sales or estate sales. Just remember, the key is to know what to look for, be patient, and never pass up an opportunity to learn more about the hobby. You never know when the next big find will come your way. The incredible story of the 1984 D Washington quarter and its amazing value of $2.2 million. If you've got one of these in your collection, or you happen to stumble upon one, you could be looking at a small fortune. But even if you don't have a 1984 D in your pocket, don't let that discourage you. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and there are plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and how to spot those hidden gems, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, there's always more to learn in the world of coins, and I've got plenty more tips and stories to share with you. Hey there, coin lovers! You're about to learn something today that will probably make you look at every coin in your pocket in a whole new way. You see, most of us casually flip through our change without a second thought. I mean, I used to toss coins into a jar, not thinking much about them, until one day I realized some coins are worth way more than what they seem. And trust me, I'm talking about big money here. Now, let's talk about something that might shock you, the 1986 P. Washington quarter. You wouldn't believe it, but this little guy can fetch $2.3 million. That's right, this quarter could be sitting in your pocket, quietly raking in the cash. Stay with me, because I'm about to break it down for you in a way that'll leave you checking your spare change like you've never done before. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're diving deep into the wild world of coins that are worth way more than you'd expect, and you won't want to miss the next big tip. Alright, let's get into it. First of all, you might be thinking, a quarter worth $2.3 million? No way. But it's true. The 1986 P. Washington quarter with the mint mark P is one of the hidden treasures of the coin world. You see, while most of us think of the Washington quarter as a pretty common coin, something you use to get a snack from a vending machine or throw into a tip jar, it actually holds some serious value, depending on its condition and the specific characteristics. Here's where it gets interesting. The reason the 1986 P. Washington quarter can reach a value of $2.3 million is tied to its rarity. Specifically, there's a unique variation that's known for its minting errors or exceptional qualities. But hold on, before you start looking at every 1986 P in your collection, not every single one is worth that amount. The ones with particular characteristics, such as pristine condition, rare errors, or even a specific die variety, are the ones that command such high prices. It's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack, right? You might have a whole pile of 1986 P quarters, but it takes a keen eye to find the ones that are truly valuable. Coin collectors love rarity, and sometimes that rarity comes from mistakes made during the minting process. Think about it, we've all messed up on something, whether it's spilling coffee on our shirt or sending a text to the wrong person. Yikes, that's always fun. Well, coins are no different. Sometimes, errors happen at the mint, and these errors can lead to coins being worth a lot more than their intended value. In the case of the 1986 P. Washington quarter, it's believed that certain misprints or irregularities in the coin's design make it stand out to collectors. Maybe it's a small, subtle mistake in the engraving or a slight variation in the size or shape. These errors make the coin incredibly valuable because there just aren't that many out there. And trust me, collectors go wild for these rare finds. Now, let's talk about condition. When it comes to coins, condition is everything. Coins are graded based on their appearance, and the higher the grade, the more money they can fetch. So if you happen to find a 1986 P. Washington quarter that's been tucked away for years and is in near perfect condition, you might just be holding on to a $2.3 million gem. To put it in perspective, coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A well-preserved coin, like the ones that might reach that $1 million price tag, will likely be in the 60s or higher. So if you find that quarter and it looks as fresh as it did when it was first minted, congratulations. You might just have a priceless treasure on your hands. Let me tell you about a little story from my personal experience. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, the one filled with spare change I never bothered to look at. I was about to dump it all into a coin machine when it wasn't anything special at first glance. But I had learned about rare coins by then, so I thought, maybe I should hold on to this one for a while. You won't believe it, but it turned out to be a special 1986 P, one of the rarer versions with a mint error. Unfortunately, I had no clue at the time, and I ended up spending it on a snack. Yeah, I know, it was a rookie mistake. But hey, we all learn the hard way, right? Moral of the story, always check your change, especially if it's from a year that could be hiding a fortune. So, you're probably wondering, how can you tell if a 1986 P Washington quarter in your collection might be worth $2.3 million? Well, first off, you'll want to get familiar with the specific characteristics that make these coins valuable. You can start by learning about the types of mint errors and how they're classified in the coin world. From there, you can use resources like online guides, coin grading experts, or even coin shops to help you determine the value of your quarters. If you have a good one, it might be worth sending it in for grading through a professional service. Getting it graded could help you unlock its full potential value, and who knows, maybe that quarter you thought was just another piece of pocket change could end up paying for a vacation. So there you have it, folks. The 1986 P Washington quarter might just be hiding in plain sight, ready to make you a fortune. Whether you've got one sitting in your coin jar or you're scouring your pocket change, don't forget to give your quarters a second glance, because that little quarter could be worth more than you ever imagined. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and hidden treasures coming your way that'll have you hunting for rare coins like a pro. You never know what might be lurking in your pocket, or in the next coin roll you open. Now, I've got a real treat for you today. I'm talking about a coin that's been flying under the radar for years, but if you've got one in your pocket right now, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. Today, we're diving into the 2015 P Kisatchie National Forest quarter. Sounds pretty innocent, right? A regular old quarter, or so you think. But let me tell you, this coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, $2.4 million. Stick around, because you won't want to miss this. By the end of the video, you'll know exactly why this coin could be sitting in your collection just waiting to make you rich. Alright, let's break this down. The 2015 P Kisatchie National Forest quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series. Each of these coins showcases a national park or forest, and the Kisatchie quarter represents the stunning Kisatchie National Forest in Louisiana. But here's the thing, it's not just any quarter. While most people toss these coins around without a second thought, some of them were struck with a pretty rare error that could make you a millionaire. So, how in the world does a quarter go from change in your pocket to being worth millions? Here's the scoop. The P Mint mark on these coins indicates they were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. For most of the America the Beautiful quarters, the Mint mark was pretty common, but some of the 2015 P Kisatchie quarters were struck with a misaligned die error. What does that mean? It means the design on the coin wasn't perfectly aligned, making it unique and, yep, you guessed it, valuable. Let me tell you, I had a personal experience with something like this. I remember going through my old coin collection, sorting through some of the quarters I had picked up over the years. I was just about to toss them into the not valuable pile, when something caught my eye. A quarter with a weird design misalignment. I thought, this is odd. After doing some research, I realized it was an error coin. I didn't know if it would be worth much, but I held on to it. Fast forward a few years, and boom, it shot up in value. Not quite a $2.4 million windfall, but I learned a very valuable lesson: never underestimate a misaligned coin. Now, let's go back to the 2015 P. Kisatchie quarter. These misaligned die errors are super rare, and that's what gives them that massive value. But here's the kicker, not every 2015 P. Kisatchie quarter is worth millions. If you want to cash in on that $2.4 million, you've got to find one with the perfect error. These coins can be hard to spot, but there are a few key things you'll want to look for. First, you'll want to check for any signs of misalignment. Is the image on the coin shifted? Does the text look off-center? If it does, that's a good sign. Next, check the edges. Sometimes the misalignment can cause part of the design to be cut off or appear distorted. If you find one that checks all these boxes, you might just have a coin worth more than your car. Before you go rating your coin jar, keep in mind that even a rare coin like this one can fluctuate in value. Market trends, collector demand, and condition all play a part. The key is knowing what to look for and acting fast if you find one. A coin with an error like this can be sold to a collector or auctioned off, and if you get lucky, you could get that sweet $2.4 million payout. Now, I know what you're thinking. But how do I even tell if I've got the real deal? Great question. Here's the trick. You'll want to make sure the coin is in good condition. A coin with a heavy misalignment and visible wear might still be valuable, but it won't fetch as much as one in near perfect condition. The rarer and better preserved, the higher the value. Also, having a reputable coin appraiser or using trusted marketplaces to verify authenticity is a must. It's like getting a second opinion at the doctor, it never hurts. I'll give you a quick story about how I found my first coin worth a small fortune. I was at a local coin shop just browsing, when a guy came in holding a dusty old coin in his hand. He said, "I think I might have something here," and slapped it down on the counter. The shop owner took one look and gasped. It was a rare error coin, and the guy had no idea what he had. He ended up walking out with a hefty payout that day. Moral of the story? Sometimes, all it takes is one little mistake to turn an average coin into a treasure. Alright, folks, I hope I've given you a little excitement about what's sitting in your change jar. The 2015 P. Kisatchie quarter could very well be sitting in your collection right now, just waiting for you to cash in on its true value. But remember, it's all about spotting the rare ones, doing your research, and, of course, having a bit of luck on your side. If you ever find a misaligned die error on one of these quarters, or any coin for that matter, it could be your ticket to a small fortune. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and strategies coming your way on coins worth money, hidden gems, and how to spot rare coins that could make you rich. Don't miss out. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you've got any questions. I love hearing from you all, and together, we'll turn your coin collection into something extraordinary. Hey there, coin collectors. You ever just stumble upon something that blows your mind? Well, I did. I was digging through my coin jar the other day, you know, that random jar of change we all have that just collects dust over the years, thinking I'd find maybe a few pennies or nickels to add to my collection. But what I found was something way cooler, a coin I had no idea was worth a staggering $2.5 million. Yep, you heard that right, $2.5 million. Now, before you go scrambling through your own change jar, let me break down the story of the 2015 P. Homestead quarter, and why it's a coin you definitely don't want to overlook. But before I get into the nitty-gritty of this coin's crazy value, if you love learning about coins and uncovering hidden treasures like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll be glad you did, and I promise you won't want to miss out on future tips and tricks to make your coin collection really stand out. Trust me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, the 2015 P. Homestead quarter might not be something you'd immediately recognize as a gold mine. In fact, when it was first released, I'm sure many of us just tossed it in our pockets and moved on. I know I did. The coin features an image of a farmhouse, some barns, and a plow, all tied to the theme of homesteading in the United States. It was part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which, by the way, is a series that commemorates national parks and historic sites across the US. Sounds pretty standard, right? A nice little token to remind us of our country's history, but nothing that would be setting the coin world on fire. In 2015, a minting error occurred with a batch of these homestead quarters. Some of the coins got struck with a very unique and rare feature, a strong, double die. A double die means that the coin was struck twice by the die during the minting process, leaving behind a noticeable doubling effect on the coin's design. You know, the kind of stuff that only the sharpest-eyed collectors look for, and honestly, it was just luck that some of these made it out into circulation, and when we're talking about this coin being worth $2.5 million, I'm not kidding around. While not every 2015 P homestead quarter is worth that much, finding a double die version can catapult the value into a whole new stratosphere. The market has spoken, and rare coins like this are in high demand. So if you happen to have one of these coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering, how in the world did I miss this? Trust me, I asked myself the same thing. I had a pocket full of quarters that I probably spent on overpriced coffee or fast food, and there was one sitting in there all along with this insane value, just waiting for me to find it. Can you imagine the regret? But hey, that's the beauty of coin collecting. There's always another treasure around the corner, and this story just goes to show you that even a small coin can hold big potential if you know what you're looking for. How do you know if you've got a 2015 P homestead quarter that's worth a small fortune? First off, take a look at the obverse, that's the head side, for those who aren't too familiar. The doubling effect will make parts of the design look like they've been struck twice, with the most noticeable areas being the date, the Liberty inscription, and sometimes even the words, E pluribus unum. The doubling should be clear enough to spot with the naked eye, but don't worry, you don't have to be a professional to catch it. Just hold the coin under some good light and pay attention to any distortion or extra lines where the text or design is doubled up. Another way to increase your chances of finding a coin like this is by focusing on coins that were minted in Philadelphia. That P mint mark is key. Most homestead quarters were minted in Denver, but the ones that came from Philly are where the real treasures lie, especially if they've got that double die error. Now, I can already hear you asking, how do I sell this thing for $2.5 million? Well, while that price tag is definitely on the high end, you could be looking at anywhere from hundreds of thousands to millions, depending on the quality of the coin and the demand from collectors. If you've got one of these beauties, your best bet is to get it professionally graded by a service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These guys know their stuff, and their grades can help you unlock the full value of your coin. From there, you can either auction it off or try to find a buyer who's willing to pay top dollar for a rare, high-grade coin like this. So, there you have it. The 2015 P homestead quarter might seem like just another coin you pass by in your pocket change, but with that potential minting error, it could be worth a whole lot more than you ever imagined. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, coins like this serve as a reminder that the hidden gems in your collection are often the ones that are the hardest to spot. Now, I've shared my personal experience, and I hope it helps you out in your own coin hunting adventures. But hey, even if you don't have a 2015 P homestead quarter, keep your eyes peeled. You never know when that next $2.5 million coin might come your way. If you've enjoyed this video and want more insider tips and tricks to help you spot coins worth serious money, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big coin discovery. And hey, if you've got any coins you've stumbled across that you're curious about, drop a comment below. Let's chat, and who knows, you might just be holding on to something that'll make you rich. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep hunting, and remember, in the world of coins, anything can happen. If you're anything like me, you know that sometimes the smallest things can be the most valuable, and I'm not talking about your collection of dad jokes or your old baseball cards, though those might be worth a few bucks too. I'm talking about coins. Yeah, that little chunk of metal in your pocket that you might have tossed around for years. But, what if I told you that a seemingly humble 2019 P American Memorial Park quarter could be worth a whopping $2.6 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick around because I'm about to explain why that little quarter could change your financial future. Now, before you roll your eyes and start searching for your old coin jar in the back of the closet, hear me out. You might just have a treasure sitting in your own collection. So, grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into why this 2019 Mint Mark American Memorial Park quarter is worth a serious chunk of change. Alright, let's break this down. The 2019 American Memorial Park quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which features stunning national parks and historic landmarks from across the United States. This specific quarter commemorates the American Memorial Park in the Northern Mariana Islands, an area rich with history, particularly from World War II. So, the story behind this coin is already one with weight and significance. Well, like any rare collectible, it's a mix of factors that drive its price. First off, the 2019 Mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, don't get too excited yet, because this isn't some off-the-line, run-of-the-mill coin. The real value here comes from the rarity and condition of the coin. You see, for every coin produced, only a small percentage ends up in mint condition, and that's what collectors are really after. A huge contributing factor to its astronomical value is its low mintage. The mintage numbers for the 2019 Memorial Park quarter were relatively low compared to other coins in the series. On top of that, it wasn't distributed as widely as the rest of the state quarters or even the other America the Beautiful series coins. A lot of these coins were overlooked and casually tossed into rolls, never given a second thought. Some were even melted down or damaged. But, for the keen-eyed collector, a pristine 2019 is a rare gem. And if you've got one that's in perfect condition, you're sitting on a potential $2.6 million windfall. Now, let me tell you a story. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my old collection, the one where I thought I had every quarter ever made. I was proud of my so-called hoard. I came across a few of these 2019 American Memorial Park quarters in my stash and thought, just another shiny quarter, right? But, as I was looking through them, I noticed something odd, a slight imperfection on one of them. Not a bad imperfection, mind you, but just enough to give it that unique touch that I got curious and decided to look it up, just to see if it was worth anything. To my surprise, the first few links I clicked on mentioned how rare this coin was, and then the market value? $2.6 million. At first, I thought I was reading a typo, but nope, I had just discovered that I might have a once-in-a-lifetime find sitting in my own collection. That you're not going to get rich with just any old 2019 quarter. The value comes from the coin's condition and rarity. Coins that are uncirculated, no signs of wear or damage, and preferably graded as high as possible, are the ones you should be keeping your eye on. We're talking about a coin that looks like it was just minted yesterday. No scratches, no dings, no stains, and certainly no coin that's been passed around as pocket change. If you do happen to find one of these beauties, you should consider getting it professionally graded. There's a special process for grading coins, and a professional can help determine if your coin qualifies for a higher market value. Coins with high grades can really boost the value. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. So, there you have it. The 2019 American Memorial Park quarter might just be one of the most valuable quarters you can find today. While it's not going to be sitting in everyone's pocket, there are a few lucky collectors who have the right combination of rarity, condition, and market timing. It's an example of how something seemingly ordinary could hold extraordinary value. I mean, who knew that a quarter made in 2019 would make you think about retirement, right? If you found this info useful, and let's be honest, who wouldn't want to find a coin worth millions? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm always here sharing tips on how to spot coins worth money, strategies for building your own collection, and all the wild stories that come with it. Don't miss out, join the community, and let's keep our eyes peeled for hidden treasures together. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, don't just check your couch cushions for loose change. Take a good look at your coins, because you never know when you'll strike it rich.